Hi everybody, the Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to the Hills of Tuscany. So we're here working through the VIP orders. This is why it is the VIP series. We're using the VIP Order Manager mod. I've got tomatoes getting grown in greenhouses, but I haven't checked them in a bit. So they're still running along with lettuce, which I do need, but they're getting close. So I've got seeds and fertilizer going there again. We're going to have to get canola and wheat growing. Clearly we've got the most amount of wheat that we need, and canola is second, but it always becomes the challenge. We planted potatoes to get going on the fried potatoes, and we've got... Do I have the milk going? I don't think I do yet either. So, because what I did determine... Well, no, I guess we do. Too many things going on in the farm, but what I did determine is it's the same cost to place multiples of these than it is to do anything else. So you can see here we've got 3,793 liters of milk, but the ongoing issue there is going to be getting TMR to feed the cows, which means I need the grass that I've been working on, and so that was some of the work I did last time too, was to get something into my silage silo there that we can see peeking over the top of the buildings, the fermenting silo. So we have that moving along. So I think I'm going to go ahead and plant some crops. So as a reminder, this is mainly what we own. We have a little bit down here, which were the grass fields. You know, is the grass field I bought and so forth. You know, this is the olives or the grapes, and then the olive grove that ultimately we decided we couldn't use at the volume we needed, so we have some olives here and things down here. I think these are both olives. Lots of things that are occurring, but that we can harvest a little faster if we need to. And then our potatoes are here. We've got our productions here, and ultimately we're going to grow likely into this area over time. So I started here with over 8 million euros as we move from Riverview Farms, but that has shrunk right now. So we can see, all right, we've got 66,000 liters of silage. Over in the TMR mixer, that is what we're running low on, but I don't have hay at this point, which was partially what then I was cutting the field for, was to get some hay and some grass. So if I head over here to field 105, you can see things are growing. We're in the 3 of 3 stage. Really, you know, waiting till tomorrow will give us more output. And so likely I'm going to need to circle around, but this at this point is the grass field that I'm using, and I'm hoping that well, it will be enough. I mean, just depending how long I want to wait. But if it becomes a bottleneck, we'll worry about it. But for now, we've got the one grass field, but I'm going to wait till tomorrow at the earliest to dive back in to this. But you know what I may do, because yeah, the lettuce that we're growing is for down here. We've got some sheep, you know, getting wool so that we can ultimately get where we need there. Gonna have to get some olives, and then I think again some spelt and triticale, which are crops that are unique to the Hills of Tuscany map. Well, I shouldn't say unique, but they're added to the map here. We've certainly had them on other maps in Farming Simulator before. But if I head over here to the flooring factory, you can see I need either long planks or short planks. Basically, going through and just running calculations from a straight throughput standpoint, going with the long planks is going to be the best. So you can see here the cycles per month are the same. Now I did ignore that to some degree because the time is typically less concerning in this series. It's not like I'm in a rush, and if I need to wait a little bit longer, so be it. So it's more, hey, how can I get what I need as quickly as I can? I'm going to get more from 208 liters of wood or trees from the long planks than I will from regular planks. You know, it's not a huge difference, but basically if I ran it with 10,000 liters of input, I was basically seeing a little less than $1,000 or 1,000 liters more in long planks than I did in regular planks. And, you know, again, that's just the way it's modeled. I was looking to see if maybe what they did is they figured, well, if I'm making longer planks, I have less waste. So I was expecting, honestly, to see the wood chips go down a little bit. So, you know, if the modder who built this, or the, you know, well, actually, this is a official DLC or whatever you want to call it, because, you know, we didn't necessarily pay for it, but although it may have been in the Season 1 pass. Either way, however we got it doesn't matter. But the premium expansion, when they modeled this, probably may have been a bit more explainable if we're looking at it from a real sim standpoint. That long planks, I'm going to get less waste because I'm turning more of the wood into a plank by making it longer, and therefore that's why I get more from the tree than otherwise. Because if I get the same amount of wood chips, in theory I've got the same amount of waste, so it really shouldn't therefore matter. They should be equal, but they're not. Now here it takes, you know, fewer cycles to get, there's fewer cycles per month, so I think it's going to take me a little bit longer. But the other thing that's nice is the production costs are about half, so it should also be less expensive to put those out. So in theory, if I'm doing it from a true, you know, kind of business looking at it standpoint, long planks kind of runs out the best. And I'm going to need about 8,800, 8,900 liters. Again, with trees, we're not going to be very able to be very specific. So before I start planting, I'm actually going to get this going so that these are producing. Because again, I haven't gone through and figured out what the cycles will be, and realistically, it doesn't ultimately matter because I'm waiting for crops to grow and so forth. And rather than taking the time to figure out, hey, is it going to take me 5 months to get all the floor tiles made if I supply all the wood, I don't know that it much matters. So I'm going to go back to the farm, and we're going to start cutting down some trees. If you followed the VIP series before, or any of my series, you know logging is the thing I like. Well, I can't be on it. It's not the thing I like the least. Rock picking and stuff like that, which is why I don't do them at all, are the things I really like the least. But I need to find some trees on my properties and get those removed to get what I need over there. So I'm going to get wood over to my sawmill, and I'm going to get that running. So I'm going to do that off camera, just so you don't have to be tortured with it along with me, and I will be back at that point. So I had this forestry thing that was already owned by the farm, so I'm just using that. So let's see, 6,300 liters, but we've already got some planks producing, but I don't think that's going to give me quite enough. So I'm going to need to take one more tree down. So what I have done is at the end of field 11 here, we own that little weird shaped segment. There were 4 trees there. There's just one left, so I've used 3 up at this point to go ahead and take those down. So I'm going to take this last one, and then that will give me enough to go ahead and do what I need. But just wanted to show you what equipment I was using and kind of the process for loading it in and getting the planks starting to get created by the sawmill. See you in a bit. Alright, so at this point I am getting ready to go plant some wheat on 77, but while I am doing that, I am also going to get the potato field that was planted fertilized so that we can get the highest throughput out there as well. Actually, I shouldn't. The fertilizer should be okay because I think, obviously, well, no, I hadn't had it, but it also needs lime. So I'm gonna I have lime in here right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that first. We'll get that running, and then... Oh boy, yeah. This is going to be fun, but it's only a little bit of the hill, and again, time is not my biggest issue. It's just, well, I mean, it is in that all these things take time. Goodness gracious, I know this is barely, so I'm still debating, like, you know, this is why I'm keeping tractors around, because as you can see, like, I can certainly have multiple jobs going with helpers and so forth to just keep things progressing, because otherwise it would just be excruciatingly slow progress through the series. Alright, so we're going to get going over here and just move this along. But what I don't want to do is create a situation where I can not, where I'm going to have to plant over and over and over. So it's different, for example, with the grass and the alfalfa, where once again, time isn't necessarily the biggest thing. I mean, it is to some degree. And so I may start worrying about fertilizing and so forth. What I think I may do is I may plant this with wheat and plant the rest with canola. Let me take a look. And yes, I'm going to have to touch up these corners, because what I figured out with this implement, like, it can't really go ahead and appropriately do things and run around as easily. So it's better to just go and clean things up, because otherwise it just gets stuck. But yeah, I've got no additional... I may plant maybe one other large field and then go for it, but I think I'm going to end up finding that I need 2 harvests of both the wheat and the canola. Like, I don't have enough fields to handle it. Because that tends to be what the VIP demands start to be, is that they're just so large, because they do take into account the size of your farm and the acreage, that you tend to be struggling. But that's exactly what I was expecting a little bit of, is that, you know, this isn't just going to be a romp through the levels at this point, like we may have had before, because of all the complexity of what we've got going on. I mean, if you think about it now, we've introduced, in essence, multiple supply chains, multiple production runs, where I've got to create all my TMR to be able to get the milk. I have to be doing multiple things to be able to get the fried potatoes. You know, similarly to get the floor tiles. It's, you know, not just cutting down a tree and running it to the carpentry. I now, you know, need to create planks, which then get turned into floor tiles. And the clothes that are showing up here in level 7 already are going to require that entire wool supply chain, where I'm going to have to create fabric and then ultimately take that fabric and create clothes from it. So I think we're going to be at these levels for a bit. Always open to your feedback, always open to comments from folks of, you know, what their thoughts are. How is the pace of the series? You know, again, I can only do so much about the pace unless I just totally throw out what's happening. You know, but it's possible now, and so that was my struggle, where I was leaving Riverview and saying, hey, what do you think we should do? Like, we took that series through level 20 of VIP orders so that we could see what would be involved to get that far. And then but that took a long time. It took well over a year. And so the question became, like, how long are people interested in being on a given series, meaning a given map and kind of a storyline of how things are going and what the VIPs are looking for? Is it a certain amount of time on the calendar? So if the series runs a year, is that good? If it runs until we just get bored, is that okay? You know, and once again, because I understand, you know, farming is farming, and it's just doing the work, I could perpetually keep going. I mean, there's enough here going on, and between the potato processing mod and using the Platinum expansion, or the premium expansion. I'm sorry, I don't know. I may be getting them mixed up. We've got the new expansion coming out in about a week or so that is not intentionally going to get incorporated here, because that, you know, introduces beets and parsnips and carrots and all that. If it just starts to show up, I'm not going to say, hey, we won't necessarily do it right out of the gate, but, you know, we'll see what everything looks like. But I'm pretty sure I'd have to start a new game with that, and you may actually need the map. Like, I know it comes with a map specifically able to do that, because once again, those crops have to be on the map. And so while the version of the game might have it because it will have upgraded, I hope it won't cause any problems. So, you know, I am being upfront with that in case we have a little bit of a hiccup. I am trying to keep on the weekly schedule at this point, but definitely the 2 episodes a week was getting to be far, far too much with all the other real-life commitments and so forth I had going on. So I will do my best to keep providing an episode a week here, as I have pretty diligently over the years, for those who like these single-player series and what they bring to the channel. But, you know, the other option is we pick a level now that we know, hey, we're here at level 6, and it's, you know, I think this is going to be episode 12 that we're in here. You know, do we say we're going to go as long as it takes to get through level 10, level 15, continue through level 20 again? You know, and any feedback is always welcome. So, alright, at this point, it's kind of done the headlands, and so now you can see this is the challenge. Like, it's going to try to back up and do something, and it's going to end up getting stuck, is what's going to happen there. It's going to do that, and then the game's not going to know what to do. So, I mean, it thinks it knows what to do, but to me, it just didn't. It wasted a bunch of time and really didn't do much of anything. So, and I think that was just because of that one area. Now it should just be running the rows, but I'm hoping with the 3 headlands it has enough room to move around. The nice thing with the rounded corners is you can see I just have those corner areas. I don't have all the little pieces in between, where I think with smooth that you have that. So this seems to be working out. But it is the one downside with this implement that I've seen, is that I can't connect it the other way and put the seeding portion closer to my tractor, which I think might make it a little bit easier, and have the air cart follow behind. I'll call it that just because that's what it is on the larger implements that look like this, but I don't know if that's the proper term for what we've got here. So my biggest thing is, we're going to run out of fertilizer. I was going to say my biggest thing is trying to figure out if I should get an auger for some supplies. My only hesitation with the auger has always been that the likelihood is I'm going to need a mixture, and then I'm just constantly playing this game of dumping the auger out and having pallets sitting all over. Might need to rethink this in the future, because yeah, I think I'm going to have little bits left, and maybe I can just run one pass up the end of the field and it'll work fine. Right, but in the interim, while that is going to continue on, although it's going to run out of fertilizer very quickly, we're done here. Ooh, we got close. We're down to just 4% on the line, but we made it, which is the important thing. And what I need to now see is, can I flip this out, bring fertilizer over, and at least have the potato field now ready until harvest, because I've been not great in making sure I get things done. I just kind of move on to the next major job. Hey, let's get something growing, let's do whatever. And then that has caused me to realize sometimes when I come into harvest, like, I forgot to fertilize, and so now obviously I have much less of a yield than I would have otherwise. But I'm going to go ahead now and try to fertilize the field. If I can't, I'll just delay it until later, but it'll happen at some point, or I'm going to attempt to make it happen at some point before the harvest. So you can see there, like I just dumped the lime out, and you can see it just throws this pallet way out in the middle. So that's my concern with an auger, is that we're just going to have things going on. And so you can see tank is empty. I don't know, I'm going to take a look at my auger options, and if I've got an inexpensive one, I may go ahead and do that. So I'm going to step away and work through that, because if I can avoid having to drive everything all the way back, that would be great. But like I said, it may turn out that it's not just a fertilizer auger. I sometimes have to do seeds, and then we're moving things in and out. But I'm going to do those jobs and make some further progress, and then I'll bring you back here and we'll catch up in a bit. I'm looking for where... oh, we do have some wool already starting down there, so that is good, because then we can eventually start to throw things into the spinnery and start getting some fabric going. But I think I want more than just a pallet. I certainly don't want to take a partial pallet, so we'll just keep moving along. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so I kind of popped over to the field here as this is going to get an idea of what we're looking at. And so part of the precision farming information you get is the expected yield. And so what that is telling us, if I understand things correctly, is that I'm going to get 16,700 liters to the hectare off this field. If I then go back here to my farmlands menu, you can see I'm getting 3.88 hectares here. So I basically have not even 4 hectares, and to get the 175,000 I need, and that's assuming I get that same yield off all the fields, which I will not. This is actually one of my better fields. If I go back here and look at the soil map, there's a lot of loam here. Like, these fields are not so great. The ones up here are pretty good. Again, my alfalfa field is decent. This field is as well, but it's also, again, you look at that, it's 1.03 hectares, 2.14, 2.54. So that's the thing, like this is 2.54, this one's 3.88. Like, even though this looks substantially bigger, it really isn't. And then again, this one's barely, not even 1.5 hectares in the field. What I'm getting at, and why I popped in here to share some thinking with you, is I think to get to 175,000 liters, I need to plant all of my fields in wheat. I don't think it's going to be like, because I was thinking, well, maybe I just do the 2 large ones, so do field 7 and this field, this one here. That's barely going to give me 6 hectares, and if I get it at this rate, that'll get me kind of around 100,000, but I still need 75,000 liters of wheat, which is almost, I'm past half a little bit, but maybe at 66%, I need another 33%, and at that point I just have a lot of smaller fields. So what I'm going to do this first go round is plant all wheat, and we'll continue to learn about the farm a little bit as we go. We could improve the potential a little bit. In theory, if we lime, we can get another 500 liters off of this. I guess 700 liters. But you can see there, that's where you start to understand a bit of how things work, and with precision farming and so forth. So you are getting increases, but you're not getting the substantial increases that perhaps people think they are when they're doing things, which once again goes back to what I had shared a little while earlier. So what I'm gonna do here is now I'm gonna try to get all of these pieces taken care of. Goodness, this is just not wanting to pull, because I want to get as much of this planted. I'm going to have to figure this out, and I'm definitely going to do most of this off camera, because it's just going to be sloppy work circling around. Like, I missed a little bit already. It's going to take multiple passes here. So yeah, this is just a lot of dancing that happens, that is for sure. So I think what I'll do, I can get rid of that so I can see a little better, and you can see a little better, but that will, you know, take me down here. I get that little piece, and again, running from here, it'll be better. You'll notice I only did get those tufts in a couple places, which is great. So, you know, overall, if I had to pick, oh yeah, this worked great with the track and so forth. You know, I think, oh boy, did I? Yeah, I think I got the corner. This is what I mean. I don't have a lot of room to maneuver in this thing, while smaller, and, you know, not being the ridiculous seed hawk and so forth that you do on giant farming. You know, it gives me a little bit more movement, but in the grand scheme of things, with all the touch-ups I have to do and so forth, it might be really close to the same thing. It's just the benefit is I don't have to babysit it as much, because at least for all the flaws and everything, Courseplay can operate with it relatively well. You know, what I may learn is that I want to go ahead and run 4 headlands here, which I think is what I did last time. I just thought I can get by with 3, because that's wide enough, but I'm not sure that it is. But yeah, this is part of the fun, figuring out, you know, what I gotta do to get these orders done as efficiently as I can. But obviously we're getting later in the day. I'm probably gonna push ahead and get a few more fields. But before I do that, I wanted to get you in here so you could see what was going on, participate in the end of the field. But I wanted to hop over here too. So this has been running all day, and you can see we don't have a lot of planks. I was hoping, oh no, we do have, okay, so we do have 1 output, so it looks like, I'm assuming this is 1,000 pieces is 1,000 liters, so whoops. So pretty nice model. Again, I've not used this expansion before and all the productions that come with it, so this is going to be new to me as well. But that is what I was thinking, is that each of these locations, they're not drop-off locations, this is just output for the various things that can come out of the sawmill. I'm worried I'm going to be a couple hundred liters short, but that's going to start to be more visible as we get closer. Because you can see basically, you know, we're 88 long planks in, we've got only 7,400 liters of wood left, and we've only got the 1,000, so we basically got 1,090 right now, I think. You know, and we need, like I said, 8,800 to, so it looks like we need like 400 or 500 liters more. So, not quite sure what that turns into. What I may do, I'm honestly looking at maybe cutting one of those trees, those thin pines over here. Because again, if I need 500, that's not much, but you know, I get this is part of the nice landscaping by the road, but I need the trees that I have available. I'm not sure, for example, if those are on my property or not. So maybe if they are, we'll do that and drag one over to the sawmill. But then likely have too much wood. I don't know. But I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, because I think I've given enough, just given all the conversation about what we're doing for the VIP orders. I think this should be a decent episode of information for you and get you somewhere there. You know, I'm not looking to make extremely long episodes. I know some of them have started to get in the 40, 50 hour-long time frame here and there. But I think, again, that goes beyond that sweet spot where if we can get things in 20 to 30 minutes, I'm thinking that's what people prefer more. Again, give me feedback. Let me know. That helps me understand what you enjoy and what you'd rather see. Because what I want to do is obviously produce something that is interesting to you, because if people aren't watching it, you know, then it's not serving the purpose that we're doing and putting things out on a YouTube channel for you to follow along with and enjoy. But I'm probably going to get one more field done, probably before I start the next episode, that I'll just finish all the planting, and then, you know, we'll be focused more on collecting, getting the harvesting, and seeing if we can get some stuff done, start moving this stuff over to the floor tile production facility, the flooring company, and so forth. But for now, I'm going to leave you here with the sawing of wood in the background. It's kind of quiet for me, so you probably can't even hear it. But we can see our farm over there. I do enjoy just, you know, kind of being here in the mountain valley. It just feels really cool. Could imagine living here would be kind of fun. Pretty beautiful. You know, I think people take it for granted sometimes when they have gorgeous scenery like this, and this is just where they live, because you see it every day. But sometimes it's just good, as the daylight is fading, just take a look around and realize how blessed you are being in a place like this. With that, I'll see you next time.